podcast next week.
I will. That's going to be the exciting episode where you are getting your new tattoo. Correct?
Yes. New tattoo.
That's going to be pretty cool.
It's going to be pretty fun.
Oh, we were so clever and good.
We were so, yeah. Here I am. I see myself. I just don't know if it's actually, if it's live or if it's Memorex. If anybody's at home and you're listening, if you can't hear me, let me know. Please put in the comments. I'm in the comments today. So, hi, Chrissy Gonzalez.
Well, it's only important that they hear me. I don't think it matters.
Oh, will you? It says no audio still. Sad, teary face.
Oh.
That's what I'm doing. It says no audio.
Oh.
We're good now.
We were so clever and good.
We were so, yeah. Here I am. I see myself. I just don't know if it's actually. That's you in call volume. I need to put live or if it's Memorex. Oh, see, I can hear myself talking to myself. So yeah, apparently it's working. So anyway, what kind of news do we have this week, Stephen?
Oh, well, do you want to start out high-minded or low-minded?
Well,
do you want to start out today?
Usually, Steve, it gets low somewhere. So
yeah,
I don't care.
Gets low with me.
Yeah, go for it.
You don't care? Okay, because I'm really excited to talk about this woman who was caught masturbating on the London Tube. Woman masturbated on tube for 10 minutes and blamed itchy thigh. Arrest warrant issued. We've got her picture here. She looks like a pretty nice lady who wouldn't do that sort of thing, but looks deceiving.
Is there a type of lady that does that sort of thing? I don't think so.
I don't know if there's a type. You may be right. You may be right. It just may be.
I just think
a random thing.
She literally needed to scratch that itch, if you know what I'm saying, for 10 minutes.
She literally did. I wonder if that's going to be a good enough excuse when she finally gets arrested. I had an itchy thigh.
It's like, look, it really was itchy. That's pretty. Yeah.
It was really itching.
10 minutes. You figure it out for a couple minutes if you hadn't got it. You know, we hadn't got those itchy thighs.
So be on the lookout for Sarah Hinkson if you're in London today or any day.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Sarah Hinkson, 37. So if you're on, there's a passenger named Anthony Burton who's interviewed.
Oh,
this article. He.
Oh no. He's the one that saw it all go down, huh? That's horrible. Somebody send that lady some dinner.
Yes, he's the witness, but he's visually impaired in one eye, so I don't know if that will make a difference. He told City of London Magistrates Court that he boarded at Paddington after being escorted into the front carriage with his guide dog. He said, "I was suddenly aware of a banging noise, and I thought it was something mechanical. But I noticed that to my right, there was a lady." No.
So a blind man caught a woman masturbating on the London Tube, but he's not. Can we? Okay, yes. All right, I'm done. And she said she had itchy thighs.
Yes. She said she had itchy thighs. Yes.
Those crazy birds.
So interesting things happen in London. I don't know if.
Where do you find this stuff, Steve?
Interesting things like that. On the internet. Have you ever been there? It's a cool place.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
It's an interesting place. It sure is. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's really cool.
What else do we have? Crazy folks from London.
Well, since we're in a low mind, let's keep it low, shall
Oh,
we?
sure.
This is London too. So London is just disgusting. That's all I've got to say. Because London has just approved a giant dildo skyscraper.
What are you doing, Steve?
It's got planning approval. It's London. It's not me. It's London.
It's London. Who knew? Who knew London?
London Bridge and the entire city is falling down. They've got a giant skyscraper going up in London. And many people think it looks like a
Phallic.
a giant dildo. And
So you have a phallic-shaped building in London. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's very.
Well, in today's world, you wonder how, if enough people think that that's what it looks like, that it would get past the building stage, like the actual approval of somebody going, no, that totally looks fine.
Well, maybe they want it to look like that. I mean, maybe they're just going nuts. I think I don't understand what's going on.
That's the guy game of power. Like put phallic symbols up all over the city.
They're masturbating on tubes in front of guide dogs, and they're doing all sorts of crazy stuff.
Maybe that's what happened. She couldn't shoot. The building was overwhelming for her.
Oh yeah, that might be it. She could blame the side of the building that's going up. I got excited. It's not my fault. We're going to have people masturbating all over the place. This is gross.
They need to tear down that building.
This is too low-minded even for me.
Then why are we talking
need
about
something uplifting?
Yeah, right.
Because I am a disgusting human being who focuses in on disgusting things.
That's what we have for internet news.
But again, it's not my fault. It's London's fault. I mean, they're shoving it in our faces. This horrible stuff.
Apparently.
Here's something high-minded. It's not exactly news, but it's an interesting question that I found on Twitter, and I thought you might want to answer it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you believe? This is very high-minded, so get ready for some whiplash because this is going to be quite a change of pace here. What do you believe you were put on this earth to accomplish or share? That is a question on my Twitter feed by a guy named Ali Alexander. How would you answer that?
I'm saying I don't owe him anything. No, I'm playing. What was I put on this earth for? I do believe.
Yes, what were you put on this earth for?
I think to sing a song. I don't even know what song, or just if it's any song. I believe I was put on this earth to talk to people, to learn as much as I can, share with those who want to share with me, and sing. That's pretty much what I think I was put on this earth for.
That's a good answer. I'm glad you have an answer. I knew you would because I don't have an answer. It might be
and I think I was put on the earth to make people laugh. I think so.
Yes, you were.
Yeah.
Yes, you were.
So.
Yeah. Do you get a chance to make people laugh that often? Because you're not performing in my plays anymore. Because that was a great way to make people laugh. But,
right.
You stopped performing my plays.
Specifically your plays. Yeah.
Specifically mine. Yeah.
Right. I don't know. I don't know about I mean, sometimes I cut up a little bit when I'm at my shows, like on the mic, if the mood's right and if things are cool. I got to joke a little bit the other day with a heckler.
You did?
Yeah, this guy came up.
A heckler?
This guy came up before the show Friday night, and by the way, thank you to everybody who came out to the show at Premiere. That was nice. We had a great show. It was real fun. But we were setting up, and you always have that, like, when you're in a band and you do your own stuff, like, you go in there as a roadie, so we're sound techs at that point. We're not even musicians. We're just setting up gear and putting up stuff. So you're in this kind of weird mind, weird headspace. And this guy comes up and he said very loudly, y'all play any Motley Crue? And we all look at each other. We were like, yeah. I said, no, man, we really don't play any Motley Crue. And he's like, yeah, man, I watched that show on Netflix, The Dirt. And I said, yeah, I could tell. And he's like, yeah, man, you guys need to play some Crew. And then from that moment on, he went over to the jukebox, and from that moment on until the time we went on stage, it was nothing but back-to-back Motley Crue from like every era. It was pretty funny. And so then I think during the first set, it was towards the end of the first set, he comes right up front. Hey, do you guys know Motley Crue? And I said, yes, and unfortunately they're not here tonight, sir. You're stuck with Shovelhead. And then and I said it in a funny way. And I said, hey, I get it, man. I said, apparently you've watched that Motley Crue show probably 12 times. Said, you're probably really dying to hear some live Motley Crue. And I said, I'd love to sing some for you, but we just don't know any. And then he's like, oh. And then 2 seconds later, he got kicked out. He was pretty loud. Yeah, he kept yelling. This is just as bad as the guy that goes to Eric Clapton and yells Layla. So, screams it.
That's me.
It's the only song from Eric Clapton.
What do you? I don't even know that song. So
yeah, that was pretty funny.
I don't even know the song. Well, it's good that you have this podcast because that doesn't sound like you get a whole lot of opportunity.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't really. Not that I cut up too much here on this podcast either, but those who have been fortunate enough to hang out like outside of a show, or get one of the adult beverages, or when we had a couple in us and we're all feeling good, we get pretty funny, we get pretty goofy. I'd even been known to write a few goofy songs from time to time when the mood is right.
You reminded me about adult beverages. I didn't look up an article about it, but I just remembered it. I've been watching that show that Miriam. What's Miriam's last name? I forget. You remember?
Oh God.
Our guest.
Yeah, I have to look.
Oh, you forget? Okay. Hopefully she's not listening.
I know it's the Cannabis Club. I know it's the Cannabis Club at the Meetup app.
Yeah. Miriam recommended a show called Midas Raw Live, which is on YouTube, and the last episode dealt with adult beverages. They got a new beer out.
Okay.
They're just waiting for it to be legalized. They've got a new beer out that's that is get you high like marijuana rather than beer.
Well, that's funny.
What they did was they made beer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they made beer. They took the alcohol out of the beer
and infused it with
it's
cannabis, THC. Here's what's funny is what I found out about that is that that I heard in an article that I read that THC is not alcohol soluble, so it actually doesn't work. That you can't put THC in alcohol. At least, but this is before you start. I don't know what they're actually doing. They may have synthesized it, or they could have found a way to actually infuse that. But I know the regular way from an article, actually 2 articles that I read that you couldn't do that. So they have made leaps and bounds into, I don't know. It's like somebody said that they were going to make helium beer. That had helium. And there was an April Fool's thing years ago about people drinking this drink, and then they would talk like they had helium. But I found out I'm not sure if that's real either.
It was fake, and people were just thinking that they were given helium when they really weren't.
I don't know. No, I think it wasn't really alcohol, or it was something. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at it again. But I thought it was kind of a ruse, if you will.
That'd be interesting if this turns out to be a fraud. The host drank it on air.
Well, I heard they were trying to do it. I heard they were trying to do wine that way. I mean, I've read a few articles that said they're trying to infuse that type of thing. I don't know how you do. I thought the fermenting process or something. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about, folks.
They were saying on the show that. Oh, go ahead.
No, I just said I had a request for Brown Eyed Girl, apparently. So.
Right now?
Yeah. Thanks, Chrissy. No.
Wait a minute, you're supposed to sing it right now?
Apparently, yeah. Request for Brown Eyed Girl.
Oh wow.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, I'll just.
Although
wait.
I will be
Are you
saying, I
gonna
will
sing
say
it?
this is that I've had a few people request putting some music on the show, and since music is a big part of my life, I thought about that at the beginning of like, do I actually do music on here? I kind of wanted it not to be just a, another live, a live show. But I know there's a lot of people that said they enjoyed that, and that's very cool. I really appreciate that. So if that's what you want, that's what you're gonna get. So if you want to see some live music, you just let me know. Also, for those at home that are at home watching, if there's something that if you have somebody interesting that you want me to talk to, and you want to have them on the show, we're looking for interesting people, and we're looking for interesting businesses here in South Florida. All that cool stuff. I have a couple of people that I'm trying to talk to. I have a gentleman that does some original music that I was going to have him come in here. He's just a solo artist. He writes some really, really cool stuff. The next show, we're going to be doing live tattooing with Chris Blinston. If anybody knows him, he was on season 6 of Ink Masters. Overall guy. He and I we've been brothers for a long time. We were both former Marines, and we both lived in Nebraska together. Hey, knock it down in there. Yeah, I got it. I can just hear you through the mics. Shut the door. They're bleeding through the microphones.
Oh.
Shut the
Yeah, I
door.
heard it too.
Heathens.
Shut the dough.
No, we're going to be having Chris Blinston, so we're going to be going inside his shop, which is located inside Coral Springs. No Hard Feelings is the name of the shop. If you guys want to check it out, it's actually fantastic work for an art gallery. And then the week after that, I'm actually talking to a young gentleman who started his own beer company here in South Florida, and I do believe it's Livingston Beer. I think Lexington Beer. I got to look it up. I'll do that right now, actually. But yeah, so we're talking to we got some pretty cool shows coming up, but we'd always like to talk to more folks. Got any other news there?
Folks are good.
Steven? Oh, I have. Okay, I have some other stuff coming up too.
You have some what?
I have some other stuff coming up too. Like one of the musicians, I got Alex Malay, who's going to be coming in from New Orleans. My friend he's a musician down in New Orleans. And we did a Allman Brothers tribute show together, and Lexington Brewing and Distilling Company, established 1999.
I just assumed that you were going to do music on the show. I just assumed it.
Yeah, I know, man. It was kind of weird.
It was a given.
It was kind of weird. I didn't know. I didn't know if I wanted to mix those two. But I like the variety aspect of the show. I think that's really, really cool. Actually, on that, I have they don't know about it yet, but there's a comedy troupe in town that I follow that does improv comedy. And I thought about reaching out to them to having some improv comedy on the show. I have another gentleman that I've known for years. I'm trying to find him. He's a local comedian, and I'm trying to get a hold of him, trying to find his number again. But yeah, I'd like to do all kinds of stuff, man. I'd like to have have some fun. Maybe
Fun's good.
I have a gentleman who I'm thinking about. He's a gentleman we're thinking about maybe doing some live events as well. I know Livestream Entertainment. Doug, he's going to be he's doing the Wing Fest this weekend for Big 105.9 Doc Reno, which is the local rock station here in town. They're going to be broadcasting the Wing Fest this weekend. Doug's going to be doing that. So,
wow, you guys are having all sorts of fun in Florida.
Trying to get out there and do some stuff. But yeah, we're going to be doing some live on event. I thought about taking everybody out for a boat ride. I know a gentleman who is he's a captain around town and does some boat charter fishing and stuff. And I thought about it'd be cool to do a little podcast on the water. I think it would be maybe the first on the water podcast if we can get away with it, right in the Fort Lauderdale Inlet.
First ever on the water podcast.
Several coming to you on the water outside Fort Lauderdale.
you're pushing envelopes. You're breaking barriers. You're breaking the glass ceiling. It's marvelous. And
And
you guys don't even have any giant dildo skyscrapers in Florida. And
Steve,
you
we
still
don't
managed to have some
need
fun.
them, Steve.
I guess not.
No,
I guess not.
right? That's really cool.
Okay, I
But
wanted
yeah,
to
so
ask you,
go ahead.
or are we ready to move? Are we ready to move? Oh, we're not ready. Okay, because I wanted to ask you. Do you know who Nipsey Hussle is?
He's a rapper that lives in L.A. From what I understand, he was Grammy nominated this past Grammys.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know his music. I know the name. I heard about him being shot and killed outside of his clothing store. I heard that a couple days ago.
You know, well, his death was announced on April Fool's, and I'd never heard of him. And his name sounds like a joke because
No, unfortunately, it wasn't. Actually, the story is actually pretty crazy because he actually called the police chief a few days ago and said that he was going to meet with them about trying to stop gang violence in his city. And so he was going to do something about it, like a youth outreach program, and then he was murdered shortly before his meeting from the police, from what I read. So that's
oh man,
that's unfortunate. There's a guy who was actually trying to do something about help his neighborhood out, and he didn't live to see it happen. So that's sad.
Oh damn, that's definitely not.
It's not where you thought this short story was going, did it?
No.
Right.
Well, I didn't think it was wacky because I knew the guy died, but I was just intrigued by the fact that he named himself
Nipsey Hussle after Nipsey Russell.
Name after Nipsey Russell, yeah, because nobody remembers Nipsey Russell anymore.
I remember Nipsey Russell,
but I remember Nipsey Russell too. I remember him on what was the game show he used to do? I think it was Hollywood Squares.
There was a few of them. I'm sure he did Hollywood Squares. I want to say, what was the crazy one that everybody was it? The Joker's Wild.
Oh, he was on the Gong Show, right?
The Gong Show. That's the one I'm thinking. Oh yeah, he was definitely on the Gong Show. Which what a cocaine filled or fueled crazy. Jeez. I remember watching that as a kid. I was like, this is just utter chaos. It's not even...
Yes, we had no idea what was going on behind the scenes, but
yeah, throw a little heart up if you remember if you remember the Gong Show. What was the guy's name?
The Gong Show.
The guy that did the Gong Show.
Chuck Berry, right?
Was that him? No, was it Chuck Berry? He always come out dancing and he looked like hammered. Like the Unknown Comic, wasn't that a guy with a bag over his head?
Yeah, the Unknown Comic was on there.
Is that where?
I remember best.
Isn't that where you got the whole idea for the character that I did in your play, with the bag over his head?
No, it wasn't. Well, it might have been. Come to think of it, many of you listeners won't know this, but Ken, in my play, in my first ever play, he played a character who wore a bag over his head. We might have been thinking the Unknown Comic when we came up with that. We might have been thinking because the Unknown Comic.
Best I ever looked, by the way.
For those who don't, Chuck Berry, not Chuck Berry.
There you go.
I knew I got. I knew that was somewhat
Chuck
right.
Berry, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Chuck Berry, as he duck walks across.
For those of you who don't watch the Gong Show on reruns and on the game show channel, it was a crazy show where people. Talented and untalented people come out, and
it was the precursor to American Idol.
Yes, it was. It was a much crazier, much lower.
Actually, when the next one that came out was like Star Search, right?
Yes, Star Search was a lot closer to American Idol.
It was like
Star Search was a lot more serious,
like Ed McMahon. Star Search.
Ed McMahon.
And then they have a model, like they had a model search that day too, like every episode. We had to vote on the girl.
Yeah, they had models. They had comedians, singers, dancers. They had all sorts of
little kid jugglers. I mean, not people that juggle little kids, but actually little kids who juggle.
That'd be something.
Yep, dropped one.
Now that would, yeah. Juggling babies. I think. That would be,
I didn't say babies. I said kids.
Exciting.
He's juggling 5-year-olds, folks. He's doing the two with one hand. Back and
Juggling
forth.
babies, is that too edgy for us? Juggling babies?
It's too edgy. You crossed the line.
I crossed the line.
Yeah.
Gong.
Wasn't
gong,
that? Wait.
maybe have a gong
It's the
sound
same. Is that? Wonder who's where? Is that Steve Martin the Jerk where they were juggling cats? Didn't they do that?
effect? Oh, did he do that? I don't
think so.
remember him doing that. That sounds like something he would have done.
Yeah. Juggling cats. Yeah. Take my money. Oh man. It's a good day, Steve. Good day. Having fun.
It is a good day.
Yeah.
It is a good
Any more
day.
crazy news?
Especially if you're not eating. Yeah, I was going to say it's a good day if you're not eating Russian candy bars.
Russian candy
Because
bars.
the Russian candy bars have a disturbing secret ingredient, which is blood.
What?
And this is real.
It's real.
Blood. Yes, it's cow blood. But this candy was made during the Soviet era, where it was really difficult to get candy, and so the masterminds of communism came up with the idea of putting cow blood in this candy.
Nope.
So the kids could get iron.
Nope.
Yep.
In
Sorry.
Russia, you don't
It's
make
true.
candy bar. Candy bar make you. Literally. It gives you iron from cow blood.
It gives you iron. Yeah, it was real cow blood, and because a lot of kids grew up on this horrible confection that actually must have tasted good to them. A lot of them are nostalgic for it as adults, and so it's still available.
Oh
and you
no.
can even get this filth on Amazon.
Nope.
So if you're
Cow blood.
interested in cow blood
Cow blood
candy
chocolate.
bars, yeah.
Nope.
Uh,
Nope.
Yeah,
Um,
me nope either.
nope.
That was
Oh, that's
Yeah.
horrible.
yeah.
That's horrible.
But it was reported in the New York Post, and
Woo-wee.
they ought to know.
Man, oh man, oh man. Okay, well, on that note. Oh man.
I've always got the positive, uplifting stuff for you.
Yeah, well, hey,
Feel right.
on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring out our guest for this evening. She saw her a few episodes ago when she was interviewing me, which was very nice. It's nice to have somebody asking me some questions. That was really cool. She's
I
from.
learned a lot about you.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
What'd you learn that you didn't know?
I learned that you're a singer, and that you were in one of my plays. I didn't know any of that.
You knew. I found
Oh,
out
no,
we've
that
been
was
friends for
crazy.
years. That's
I
great.
didn't know that. I assumed it was somebody else, but it turned out to be you.
Well, she is a reporter and journalist for True Rock Revival magazine here in South Florida, and she's our wonderful she's our wonderful guest for episode 4 of Best Damn Internet Show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Abby Davis. You're getting a standing ovation, by the way. We're going to do it again.
I am. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
We also have this. We added this to the little thing.
Let me hear. I love this stuff. It's like makes me want to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again. Sorry.
Yeah, this chair. It's like
Tuesday Night Live. He added a little cushion for you because he thought you might want it.
I love this because I can see who's on. And sorry it didn't work out last time. Got a bunch of like emails and texts, so I'm sorry we had a glitch. But we're all here, and Ken's been doing great. And I saw you the other night. That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. Thank you very much for coming out to the show. Abby actually showed up to my show on Friday. That was nice.
Can I like stand on my knees? You know what? Here, this thing. There you go.
There you
Sorry, they had a cushion. They thought I needed it, but I don't. Okay, I'm getting comfortable now.
There you
Watch
go.
out.
Can you hear okay?
Now I can because I'm like right on it.
Steve, can you hear all
Can I
right?
try to do the thing where you do that?
Yes, I can.
Just kidding.
Hey,
All
can I
right.
say one thing before we begin?
What
Can I say one
says the
important
hunched
thing?
girl?
Go
What?
for it.
Abby, you humiliated me with your Facebook page. You humiliated me.
Oh my God! Why?
You're,
What? How?
because
Sorry.
last time you were on, I looked at your Facebook page before you came on, and I saw how your name was pronounced, and it said on the Facebook page Abby Davis, and so I told Ken, guess what? Her name is pronounced Abby Davis. It says right there on the Facebook page. We're going to do good research, and we're going to be the first people to pronounce her name correctly.
We thought we were slick.
But it turns out,
Sorry.
yeah, we thought we were really, really slick on this, but it turns out your name is not Abby Davis. Your name is Abby.
No, I like Abby better. I think Abby's cool.
Well,
like, it makes
on
me
your
sound
Facebook
foreign
page, it's
and
already
cool.
there. So
So I don't even know where. Okay, do I look this way or do I look that? I don't know.
no,
where
you
want
look
me to
this way.
look.
It's looking right at you.
I mean,
but you can,
okay.
if you want to connect with
I'll
the people,
talk
you
like
look
that.
right in front of you.
Okay,
But
hi.
to look at me, you look slightly askew.
Okay, I'm wearing my
Sure you are.
glasses, so I apologize. I look tired. I was up so late last night. I'm a little. So I'm gonna think really hard and be focused. So yeah, let's
I'll
talk.
try to keep. I'll try not to ask you like how to cure world hunger or anything crazy.
You'll just get. I have no clue. I'd like to do something for that, but I don't.
I'm with
have a
you.
clue.
I try to keep it just keep myself above ground. I'm good.
You were great. I really liked you. I liked seeing you perform. It was it was good. It was cool. I like how chill you are. You're just like, yeah, man, yeah. And then like you just walk over to your drummer and you're like, but I will say in the beginning, like, you know how everybody's doing their sound check and whatever. Like, it was so hard. Like I wanted to go over and just I told Craig, I go, because it was just like your second song or something, I think. And I wanted to go over and just like turn up the gain, just get the level way up on your voice and but you guys got it after. It's always like that.
Yeah.
I know.
It happens.
Trust
it's a graduate, especially in that place.
That place, yeah. High
it's
ceiling and-
really high ceilings. We play there all the time, and
Yeah.
if I go full on right from the get go, it's nothing but feedback. So with that place, you kind of got to work it up into figure out where you are, and everybody gets settled, get the gear all warm up, and all that. You really do.
And to explain, like, it was a really high ceiling, when they paint it black, and it's like painted black, hey, and it's like warehousey, like, it's not a warehouse, it's in a strip mall, but when you walk in, like, you think it's going to be this small pool hall type of thing, and then it's really big. I thought it was really kick-ass cool. It's a cool vibe, right?
Fun place, yeah.
Yeah, and then I
Shout
wanted
out to Premier Billiards in Coral Springs.
Hey, nice plug. Very nice. Yeah, so I'm here.
It was very cool. I was glad to see you. It was nice.
It was fun. There's a song you played that I like, a lot of them. It's funny because I thought he's going to do a bunch of Greg Allman, like he'll do some Allman Brothers, and then you were doing all these songs like from the 90s, right? And I was like, yeah, that's cool too. It came out, it was really cool.
I do it all. I go
see
everything
that.
from classic rock to modern.
I loved
rock,
it. I
classic
loved
country. I like all that stuff.
I loved your vocal. I was like, yeah.
Well, what's cool is that with I'm blessed with people that like to come see us. They're very eclectic, and so I get a lot of people that ask for a lot of. It's weird, you think you have an idea of like, hey, we're gonna kind of do this, and then you branch out and you're like, hey, let's do one song like this, and then people go, hey, I really like do more of that too, but don't stop doing that, do this, and then 12 years of that, and you kind of get this weird eclectic.
It's cool. Like I liked all the biker dudes, and I like how when I showed up there was like, you guys had your bikes in front, and I was like, oh man, I don't ride a bike, but I don't have like these dudes with these jackets showing. I have like like I was like, that's kind of cool to have a group that shows up. It's like Hell's Angels here, you got a problem, and then you had like, I don't know, was it your bike in front with the light on?
No. I was in the van.
It was like Neon Central. You walked in and there's
yeah.
like bike, neon. I was like, cool, that's cool.
Yeah, that was they did an okay job of showing up. Well, there have been other places to where we've actually had folks. It's really funny. We've actually had like our guitarist mother-in-law, and she wanted to come hear us because she was in town or something. And I'm sure I got the story wrong, but I know it was somebody like that. And she doesn't normally go to biker bars or whatever. And the event that we were actually doing was an annual. So every motorcycle club in South Florida was there. So you get there and there's like 500 bikes and every club that you can see. And she's just like, oh my God. And here's the cool thing about that is that when they see her, they're like, ma'am, are you okay? Do you need anything? You want some water? And she's just like,
cool.
oh, they're so nice. And Yeah, it really is. It's a pretty cool community.
Did you
They
just
just
tell? You
look
should
really
say, yeah, but
scary.
mom, you should see when they get into a fight at the bar. It's really
Hey, man,
bloody.
they don't. And here's what's wise. They don't want that message. They don't want to deal with that.
I know.
They want to have a good time.
But wait a minute, isn't there? I guess that left with L.A. Wasn't there like a group out? And I'm going to talk to your guys next gig. I'm going
Go
to
for
sit
it.
down. I want to find out.
Yeah, go hang out. Go
I
talk
have
to them.
to. I have a lot of questions about it. I'm going to be like, what do you think about the L.A. gang? Are they cool?
Yeah, they don't. No, they don't get along.
Do they fight?
We'll talk about that off the thing.
All right. Are we going to talk about? We got to talk about a lot of stuff.
We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. First thing I wanted
Go ahead.
wanted to talk to you about is have you always been in Florida? Have you always lived here in Florida?
No. I was born in Miami,
Mhm.
and then I went in college. I went to Indiana University for classical study.
I lived in Bloomington.
You did? That's where I was. I was
Yeah.
there. IU. Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
It's
worked
really
at-
beautiful, right?
Worked at most beautiful place I've ever lived in my entire life.
Wow, it's just
I
gorgeous.
actually lived in a hippie commune there
You did?
for a year.
Did you like plant vegetables and fruits and
That's
stuff?
exactly what I
Tell
did.
me your chores. Like what time? Did they make
No,
you get
no,
up early?
it's not about me. I'm trying to be. No, I
Oh.
worked for a lady who had a landscaping place, and she, the way she believed in doing things, she did everything by hand. So we didn't have any, like, if you had to plant a tree, you dug a big ass hole.
But how did you come to be there?
I lived in Indianapolis most of my life, and I had some friends that moved to Bloomington, and I found a job. I heard there was a motorcycle shop in Bloomington Honda, and they needed a counter guy, so I wanted to change the base, and so I went to.
That is so
Bloomington.
cool. That's great. Well, I went there and I studied classical, and it freaked me out. I did okay. I lie. I got D's a lot. I did really well in the classical part of singing, but it was, oh, hey, I'm getting people asking, hey, everybody. Hi, Patty and Erica and Dalen. That's cool. How you guys doing? It's been a while, Patty. Okay. So like I went to classical, I studied classical at IU, but my teacher, like he wouldn't show up. He was like a graduate teacher, and I guess he was getting his doctorate. So I'd be out there in the hall, and I'm all ready and nervous with my piece that I had to prepare every month. And they would get props from the Met from New York, and they would put on these amazing productions that I'd go see. And then we had like this Russian, or I don't know if it was Romanian or Russian, but we had this guy leading the choir, and he was really cool. And I have one scene I can't get out of my head. I remember we were doing Haydn's Messiah, and it was snowing outside, and I swear this was like a Hallmark moment. The choir's all around me, and I'm hearing like my classical. I was like coloratura at that time, not anymore. And I'm hearing my voice, and I'm hearing all these beautiful voices in the acoustics were just this wooden church with the big windows, and I'm looking out and it's snowing, and I'm like, this is like a card I would get. Like, this isn't real, you know?
Right.
It was really cool, but it
I
lasted.
love those moments. That was cool.
Isn't it great? Nature is great. So, so that was that. And then after that, so then I bombed on some of the theory. You know, like it was the first time I took theory, and you'd be in this big hall, and there was a guy on a baby grand, and he's like, I will play one note, and then you will do the rest of the melody, writing it down. And I'm like thinking, no, I won't. And I had to get a tutor. And then I just was like, I got to go home. It was a shock. Like I loved my friends.
Right.
And I loved writing. I would write songs. In the back, there was a creek. And I was in the academic dorm that was for all the basketball players. And those guys were huge. And I actually got to play with the Hoosiers, the team. We played volleyball because my friend was dating one of the guys. And there we are. And if you've ever played with these guys who are like 6, whatever, and you try to get the ball or I did nothing. I just watched. It was just like they were slam dunking. They were literally slam dunking the ball over the volleyball net. But it was fun. I had fun times and snowball fights on the roof. And I went to my classes, but I just was like, no, I'm not going to do well here because this is graduate. Nobody, you know. So
Right.
later on when I came back, everyone's like, oh, what are you doing out there? That's graduate. Even Eastman is easier than that one. That's, you know, Indiana. You go there when you're a graduate. And I'm like, well, no, I didn't know. My dad went there and he's singing the fight song in the, you know, I almost had to go. My dad was singing so much of the fight song when we went out to see the school. So I end up there and then came back to UM and did the jazz program there. And I was like, wow, this theory's easier. You know, I was like, this is great, you know. But I still was more into jamming and writing and like performing and being in groups and being out there in Miami. And we played all over South Beach and, you know, and like I wasn't out to be political, and there was some of that going on there. So I ended up just getting a Bachelor of Arts, and like you could literally put my degree on the wall, and it's pretty much, hey, she does music and she paints. I mean, it's like it's
Right.
not really a degree for
Right.
anything more than that.
Right.
But did a lot of gigs and
I do Sanskrit. That's great.
right. Like, oh, good for you. You minored in art. Now
Right.
what have you got?
Right.
Well, I was told by the art teacher at UM that I should do what is it, profiles? Like he goes, you do people. Well, we did a class one time outside where we had to draw buildings, and he's like, hey, listen, Abby, you got to stick to drawing people because your buildings are collapsing. I go, don't worry, I'm not going after architecture degree.
Buildings
Architectural
collapsing.
degree. Yeah, I'm not going out for an architectural degree. It's all right. It'll be fine. I'll
That's
still do
funny.
my art. So yeah, that's my little.
So after you got done with that, where did life take you?
Well, I played a lot of jazz and blues, and at that time I had a band called Southern Reach, and that was when I started to do my originals out, and we did some Allman Brothers, and it was an eclectic thing, everything from Stevie Ray Vaughan to Hendrix tunes.
Mm-hmm.
I loved doing all that, and Etta James, and I just had this pull towards all of that.
Where was this? Where were you doing this?
This is
at?
in South Miami, Miami,
Miami.
all over
Mhm.
South Beach. We had gigs all over Broward. I mean, one of the clubs is still here. I'm amazed that we're from a while ago. So I played all over there. I even did the there was a blues festival, and I remember Buddy Guy was on the next stage, and I was
Nice.
flipping out.
Right.
And it was like, okay, you go on, when you're going to go on before Buddy on your stage, we're going to have, everybody looking at your stage, and then they're going to look at your, and I just was like, oh my God, how am I going to, all I could think of is, how am I going to get from my stage, and then they're going to be breaking down, and I'm going to want, so I just told the guys, at the end of the thing, I go, hey guys, sorry, just get my stuff. I'm going over to hear Buddy, and I
Right.
just ran up to
Right.
the front. So that was cool. And then I moved up north, because I wanted a bite of the Big Apple. So I was in New York City. And I played in a band that we called Day of Colors, which is one of my songs. That's going to be on the next thing that I release. And so that was cool. I played a lot of original music out. And I met some very good musicians. And but then I met somebody, got married, and ended up in Boston.
Oh, there you
So
go.
then I played the Boston scene.
Mm-hmm.
And that was fun too. And then I started to, like, my band's like, you got to play your guitar. And, and I'm like, no. Like, yeah, you have to play your guitar. You're fine. Just do it. So I started playing my guitar, my acoustic electric out. And, like, here's this big rock band, and I only want to play my acoustic electric.
What year was that? What
It was
this going
really weird. This was like in the, oh my God, when was this? Like 2000, whatever. So I'm like playing my acoustic in the early 2000s. I'm playing my acoustic electric in Boston, and I'm like, but I met, the thing I liked about Boston, like there's two different audiences. There's different audiences, right? I think you and I spoke about it. And so the audiences in New York City, it's just like they hear a lot of music, and what they hear in the clubs is like they'll hear different styles in a night, which I absolutely love. So basically in New York, I liked it because it's just, they really seemed to pay attention. But then when I got to Boston, I was like, nobody was on their phone.
Right.
They would even mouth the lyrics to my songs,
Right.
gig after gig. And I was
That's
like,
cool.
oh my gosh. It was beautiful because it's like they're really listening. They're listening to the message. Because, basically you're giving your diary kind of, you're getting,
Supposed to be. Yeah.
if you care. you
Well,
know.
it's funny. It's like, I can relate to this to, I was watching this thing about hip hop guys back in the day, and they were saying that, it was all about what you said, how you said it was important for the beat and everything. But really, and that he said, they were talking about, that's what translated over for that. That's what like rock had in common, and those things that, if you were really a writer and you were really like the good bands always had something to say. And so the lyrics were very important. So like when somebody actually goes and listens to a band and really listens to the lyrics, that's a real cool connection,
Yeah, it is. Well, I know I do because I write, and I guess, but I also, there are bands I go hear, and if I like the music and the music is just great,
Sure.
and the lyrics are okay, but I don't care if it moves you, it moves you. So
Well, there's that's the other
different
type.
levels.
There's the other type. I mean, there's for me, I put music into a couple of categories, and I've been in both kind of bands. I've been in modern rock type of bands where the songs were absolutely nonsense, you know, but the delivery was what was important. It was the energy of the band, you know, rocking out and that loud sound and everything, and it was entertainment, you know. So it was just for the sheer fact of entertainment. And then there's other bands that are into the music, and that's where I try to stay now. I try to stay in the music.
Yep. Yeah. Hey guys, there's Dalen and Steven and Jody. Sorry, I feel like I need to say hi.
No, go ahead. Say
to
hi.
some people that I haven't talked to in a while.
It's
I
very
feel
nice.
like
I'm glad they're tuning in to see
feel like
you.
asking
Very
them.
nice.
I want to ask them questions. So, yeah. So that was my path pretty much, and then what happened? And I
After Boston, so we're in
So,
Boston, and
I'm in Boston, and then I have something go down, and then I leave.
Was it the you know, relationship thing when that kind of went over? That's when Boston was kind
well,
of.
I got divorced, and then I came back
Right.
down here, and I did a lot of jazz, and I started.
How soon did you get back into it? Because I know there's a transition issue that, you know, usually when relationships break up,
I had a major transition, but I think what helped me was I think I was in this state where it's like bounce back. You know, you just got to, I got to go down now. I'm going to go back home and I'm just going to get my head together. And I was writing a lot, like crazy, like just.
It's great.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens. I don't know. But
Well, I mean, some people don't have that avenue. Some
yeah,
people
no,
don't have
I
that
feel
way
grateful.
Yeah, sure.
I feel grateful. Even when there's times when I feel possessed by it, but
Sure.
then I'm like, what are you complaining about? You can in the middle of the night, whatever. So I feel very grateful. I hear what you're saying. But yeah, that helped me. It was healing. And then I started to do Lindy Hop dancing. I learned how to do hip hop.
That's very cool. Yeah.
So much fun. And
Yeah,
I
that's
think
great.
I'm an old soul. I know it because I love jazz. I love Etta James. Well, even Ella Fitzgerald and Coleman Hawkins and I mean so many people. And but also like my dad had passed away in that time that I was in Boston, and so. Like I came home and he's not there, and I just was like, I want to listen to jazz. And when I would go dance, I just was remembering and thinking, I can't believe it. Like my dad would dance to this stuff, and like with people. And now I'm social dancing, and I can't dance with him, but maybe he's watching and he's
Sure.
getting a kick out of it.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So I did that, and then so I was doing a lot of Lindy Hop, and then that group, it was like about 80 dancers down, in Broward. And then we would travel, and then sometimes we'd do like shows, and sometimes I would teach. And I started to do jazz again, and I made a jazz album in 2005 or 6, and 2 jazz albums. And so basically those albums they still play them, and I started to get people reviewing it in jazz magazines and stuff. And
That's nice.
yeah, it was very
Very
cool.
cool.
It was cool. I mean, I even liked when people were like, yeah, it was okay on this song. I was like, okay, great. They're talking about it.
Hey, look.
Yeah, no, because I could relate because I was like, yeah, that song was, but a lot of people liked it, and I like that still when they come down, like there's this once a year big event that they do called SoFlex. And so people come from everywhere, I mean, internationally. And so you'll have like 500 people flying down for this thing. And I've done some of the Saturday nights. I haven't, but do jazz again. And I'm hearing, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to turn the
So
volume off,
so
but I
with
can't.
that, like I was just having fun, and I started to do jazz again, and then I was like, okay, I got to do more of my original acoustic. I was doing that, and I did this new river, new like Save the Miami River show, and so then I met people through that, and then I just disappeared to get married and have my kids, and now I'm back.
What time was that?
That was a few years. That was late 2000 and no, and like when was that? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to start thinking. So in 2000. Oh no, I'm in trouble now because he's listening. Oh my god. In the past few years, that's what I've been doing.
Okay.
But the past 2 years, I've been writing a lot and getting back into my music and recording, and it feels really good to be doing it again.
Cool.
So it's about balancing it, and my kids happen to love music, which is cool. And if I can promote down here and help people with their music, it means the world to me. Because of times in my life, like when I was in my 20s, I passed on a few things because I was in a really bad state. There was just too much, lot of trauma and tragedy. So I just basically wasn't in a frame of mind where I felt I could deliver.
Right.
Even though I was given these, gems of opportunities, I didn't show up. Like literally, I was supposed to show up to Barry Gibbs' house on a Monday. And his manager's like, just have her show up because a friend of mine pushed my songs on him. And he and the manager, they're like, have her come over tomorrow. We want to talk about what she wants. I didn't show up. I was just.
We all have missed opportunities.
Right?
And
I know.
and that's
Anytime
part
I
of it.
bring that up, like one of my friends is like, why are you on? I'm like, I'm not on. It's just that I want to help people not do that.
No, I know.
That's how I
was
feel
given.
about it.
It's so random. I was given. I did a lot of tattoo stuff from a friend. We'd go on tattoo conventions almost every other weekend, and I was in Chicago, and somebody introduced me to Nikki Sixx.
Oh my
And
god.
so,
We're going after
we
him.
were talking. What's up?
We're going after him. We want.
So we were talking to Nikki, and we were having a very pleasant conversation. And somebody comes up and they were like, "Yeah, so Ken, he sings," and he was like, "Oh, you sing?" And I was like, "Yeah."
cool.
And he goes like, "Here, man, here's this card. Sing, call and leave a phone, call and sing on the answering machine." And I was like, "I'm not singing on somebody's answering machine." I was like,
Oh my gosh!
what
you
the
didn't
weirdest thing in the entire
really?
world? Yeah,
But then you're not. No one's even in the room with you.
yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Well, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking me about my comedy. Do I miss somebody's Chuck?
So you used to do comedy as well.
I did stand up. That was another thing before I.
We talked about that. We talked about you.
Yeah.
just
So I
stand-up.
did some stand up, and
What year was that?
that was in 2000.
Boston area?
No, here, down here.
Oh, okay.
Like 2000. When was that? Like 10 years ago I was doing comedy? No. It has to be, wait a minute. My kids are, 8 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, 8 years ago.
Right.
So 8 years ago, I had this neck surgery because of a car accident. And then the next thing I know, I'm writing something, and my husband and his friends flipped open my laptop, and they decided they were going to read what I was writing, and they were crying, laughing. And they were like, if you don't go to an open mic, and I was dragged to an open mic, and I got up on the stage, I memorized the stuff, and I drove everyone in the house crazy. My stepson was like, why are you locking the bathroom door, and why are you on a microphone in the bathroom looking at yourself in the mirror? And then I told him one joke, and that got through his high school, and they were all cracking up. I don't even remember what the joke was, but one of his friends reminds me about it.
I was told that when somebody says that, I think it was you,
What?
that you always remember the jokes that you tell me. So
I
know-
don't. No, I lied again. See, sometimes I lie. Sorry, Ken.
Perfect. Great. You heard it here,
You're
folks.
just
I
going
got
to
a
have to decipher what's
pathological
real.
liar as a guest.
I don't lie about interviews. Never. That's what I take to heart. White lies that don't hurt anyone.
White lies.
Yeah.
Is there such a
So
thing?
do I miss doing comedy? Well, Chuck, no, I don't, because when I sing, I'm in a different place. It's
Yep.
like you're transported. When I do comedy, I'm in the room. And even though I'm doing the lines and people are laughing and it's fun, and I have had some great nights, but then I had the kids and I didn't want to be out and these, doing that. Now I'm, changed about it. I'd do it again for fun. But basically, no. I mean, I love it, but it's not like music. Music is what I write all the time, and it just comes out of me. And it varies, and it's this and it's that. And comedy, I have to sit down and go, all right, here's a topic. And the only reason it's been easy to write is because I come from a family of just these really strange characters. Like, I mean, you could do a show literally on a bunch of people in my family, and it just writes itself. So basically, when I was doing comedy,
It's always easy when you got good material. I
oh
know.
my gosh, like just my mom alone. So I think if you have these people who are characters, you're just really writing and telling the story about them, and then you're
Sure.
getting up on stage and you're just, I don't know, for me it wasn't hard, it was just fun. The only time it was hard is when I got heckled.
Sure.
There was one show in Miami I got very heckled, and it was because they were doing dick jokes, and my grandmother in Hialeah, literally, it was like that kind of evening of, and I don't have that, background. So it's cool. I loved it. I was laughing at their jokes, but they only liked my Puerto Rican joke. And I was like, you know what? I think Broward likes me more because Broward, they laugh at everything. And then all the way home, I'm like, oh man, I should have done my really raunchy set. And I was kicking myself. And my friend's like, no. Oh my gosh, on social media, they're talking about you. And one guy's mad at one joke and they're arguing about your joke. And I'm like, what?
That's always good.
Yeah, but I was like, why are they wasting time? All right, don't argue.
Whatever.
Don't argue about comedy.
Yeah.
Comedy's fun. So It's fun, but no. The answer, Chuck, is no. We'll have to talk about that.
We just did, Chuck. We just talked about it.
I know. We'll still talk about it knowing us.
No, I that's really cool that you did comedy. Yeah, like I said, we talked about my brush with me, and I have a big respect for folks that have the dedication to go through all the routines and put the dedication in. I'm a witty guy. I can't sit down and do all that. I get up and I tell jokes. Like I'll do whatever's funny and whatever hits me.
But Jackie the Joke Man Martland from the Stern Show, I mean, that's all he does. We saw him.
Yeah, but I mean, he's got a million
great.
jokes memorized, and he's just right off
Yeah.
the cuff. Don Rickles. John Rickles is like
Oh,
just
Don
a
Rickles.
funny guy.
Oh, my
you know what I mean?
gosh. He used
And
to
I'm
crack
more
me up.
like that. Like when I get going, I'm more like just the off the cuff. But I mean, again, not putting myself in the same category.
He's bugging me. He's way over here.
These guys are.
Yeah.
You know, I know some full-time comedians in there. It's a life. It takes everything out of you.
Yeah, I mean they do a lot. Like they wanted Hard Rock. She liked me a lot. The manager. They have a different one now, but when I was there, she ran over after my set I did, and she's like, "You have got to do contests." And then I did a Saturday night up in Boca at this club, and I opened up for this guy. He's great. His name was it's Otto and George, if you know them. They've been on the Stern Show and they've been on Letterman, and I was crying watching him with the dummy, and like, oh my gosh, I was laughing so hard. And then he came over to me and he comes over and he wheels the best. He's wheeling over a suitcase, and I'm like, is your dummy there? And he goes, yeah. I go, can I talk to him? He made me laugh a lot. And then he goes, no, you can't talk to him. He's sleeping. He's tired, man. He just did a show.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, well, we'll have to, I hope I can talk to him one day. But he goes, oh, you killed. You're going to do great. And then the next day I found out I was pregnant. So
nice.
I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to go to smoky clubs right now.
Yeah, right.
But I'm done having children. So, I can go back to clubs.
You never know. You can go back and do some comedy again. Looks like
Yeah.
some people enjoyed you doing it. So it's good.
Yeah, it's fun. But I like working on music. Music, I like so much about music. So.
Cool. So you were doing music and comedy at the same time?
No, I pretty much
Gave up one for the other?
Yeah, like I focused on just comedy just because these guys were bothering me, and I was healing from the surgery. It was a 5-week ordeal, so
So
yeah.
the car accident, is that what happened?
Yeah, I was a passenger, and
Yeah.
it's messed up. The guy was talking to his girlfriend, and he skid around the corner, and the next thing you know, I needed like a new disc in my neck, and yeah, it was pretty crazy. But I was walking around with this. I'm walking around. I had this like way high. Nothing makes you vulnerable more than knowing you have surgery on your neck and you can't move, and you have this big, massive. You're wearing this big, massive collar, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in your brain, if you move like this or like this, it's gone. They would have to do the surgery again, or it gets messed up. So you can only move your shoulders and your head. So that's 5 weeks of that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I had plenty of time to just write comedy, but I just didn't know these guys would look at my laptop pretty much
Right.
because I was, hanging out at work, and
Hey,
yeah, but it's cool.
time
It
for
was-
everything. Glad you had an outlet for.
it was all good. It distracted me, and I didn't go on stage. By the time I went on stage and was ready to do it, I didn't have the collar, so that was cool.
That's good.
Yeah, man.
Hey,
It was,
you never know, the collar may have killed.
yeah, rehab. You killed it. Oh my God, you just reminded me about that's no. So go.
No, it's
Ask
cool,
me.
man.
Because I have something to talk to you about.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, don't you
Sure.
like when I set it up? Doesn't it freak you out when people say,
Not at
"Hey, I
all.
have something to talk to you."
No, not at all.
Okay,
I'm in a band that plays in bars all the time. I have the weirdest conversations always.
I bet you do. We should talk about our things that we've seen. So you said you were going to talk to me about Game of Thrones and that you are the man for Game of Thrones.
I know. Don't know everything, but I know a lot.
Okay. All right. So what I
Where
want
are
to
you at with it? You're all caught up now?
I'm all caught up.
Okay.
And
For anybody watching at home, if I give away spoilers, it's your own
No,
fault.
and I'm not going to do a spoiler.
It's
no.
been 2 years since the last episode, so we got got 2 weeks.
And I got the obnoxious brother, Rod. Sorry, I love you, but like he's the guy who, when you tell him you're watching something that's old, he'll be like, "I saw that years ago."
Sure.
He's always like, you cannot.
I had friends like that. I'm like, I just started watching Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
They were like,
It's
I
old.
finished the books in '97.
Like, why does it matter?
You're like, okay.
If it's not 10, I can see it if it's like 10 years old, but if
Right.
it's like just a year or 2 years, it's not.
I always
like,
had the people that would point out that it's not like that in the books. And they do.
Oh, yeah.
They give you that, and you're like,
Well, I have
but
a
I'm not reading
question.
the books. Go ahead.
Okay, book people.
Yeah, what's up?
And let me know. Let's go. Okay.
See if I know this.
So here's the deal, book people. Because no, I haven't read the book. Sorry. And I don't know everything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And in the beginning, I had some pet peeves about, I thought it was just so bloody.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was trying to figure out what it was for it took me till the 3rd season to become a fan.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because I got attached to a bunch of people.
Right.
Let's say I got attached to Stone. I got attached.
Stone?
Stone. I got attached to, come on, the bastard.
Jon Snow.
Thank you, Snow. I'm saying Stone. I got attached
For
to
those in the know,
to Snow. Yeah,
Rhaegar
yeah.
Targaryen.
Yeah. I got attached to Khaleesi,
Mm-hmm.
and I liked. There's just a lot of cool characters, and I was
yeah,
this
totally.
is great. I love the acting. and
Yeah,
all
well,
that.
I like it because it's like literally 4 or 5 stories with one big overlining story that kind of that's kind of
Right.
shadows everything, which is the White Walkers. But
Oh.
then you have all these other stories.
But there's a
that-
glitch. I'm going to ask you about it.
Sure, go ahead.
Please explain. I have one question about the whole thing.
Okay.
The White Walkers cannot go in water, right?
They can. They just can't swim.
How can they go in water if they can't swim? Aren't they going to drown? Like, what if it's deep water? Can they go in?
They just sink.
Okay. Without spoiling it.
I'm going to spoil it.
No,
I give a shit.
don't. No, I'm going to show you how. I'm like, let's
Okay,
do a
go
code.
ahead.
We're going to do code because
All right,
I
go
don't like
ahead.
when people spoil things for me. So
What have you not seen?
I'm
You
doing
said you're
this in
caught up?
code. I'm caught up.
Okay.
But okay, so there's a part that has to do with said dragon,
Mhm.
and it's very dramatic, involving
Where
said,
the dragon dies
said
and
water.
he goes in
But
the water.
shh,
No, I'm just,
stop it,
these
man.
guys.
No.
It's been 2
Water.
years.
No.
If you haven't watched it in 2
No,
years. you
That
know.
is my brother. Stop it. Okay, so I just want to know, if they don't go in water, how did they get said thing? How'd they get them?
They went in, but the way they tried to make you think that they went in is they went in with the ropes. So they walked in kind of like holding onto the ropes, tied it to the dragon. I'm sure they lost a few, but once they tied it to the dragon, then everybody else who was on shore pulled it on shore.
So they never went into the water?
I'm sure they did. They had to because
Then they die.
They could walk. They can't swim. But if you, it's
So-
like zombies
so
in the
where's-
movie.
wait,
They
wait.
can walk from the shore into. I think there was a movie that I watched about, and they talked about that because there's been a zombie movie for everything.
This chair's driving me. I'm like,
There've been a zombie movie for like everything. So for every
I'm gonna be
scenario,
on my knees.
right? So in one that I watched, it said that the dead can't swim, but they can walk because they don't breathe and they're not dead. They can walk on the bottom. So if you're taking a rope from the shore, you can walk down the shore right to the bottom where the dragon is laying on the bottom, tie it to him because he's dead, and they communicate telepathically.
well,
So
wait a minute.
Mhm.
How come when they're having the whole fight by the shore, why aren't they going in the water?
when
The whole, when Snow goes over there and they have the huge battle, and you see Snow, he's sailing, like they're on boats now and they're drifting away. I think that's
Hardhome. And
Right.
when he did that, they were in the water, but the
They
water's
were?
deep enough. Yeah, because some of them fell in the water, and you see them walking, but they know that they can't swim. So if you're in water that's 15
they just can't
feet
come
deep,
after you.
They just can't come after you because they did. That's how they retreated because they knew they couldn't swim.
Well, now you've answered. Like, that's good. It all comes together. I didn't want there to be a glitch, but I'm like,
We had that same question. So when this question came up, where you're like, how'd the ropes get around the dragon's neck? Where did they bring the ropes from? Like they're in the north. Like you just
but
see
he's
them.
got to
There's
be
a
in
giant
deep
horde
water.
of
But
white.
the only thing is, come on, he's got to be in deep. Well, he's a big dragon. He's got to be in deep water. How can they go way
Yes
down
and
under
no,
there?
but if you always saw, like in Hardhome, you saw the giant walk offshore. He was literally walking through the water, and he was still above water. And he's what, 10 feet tall?
Yeah, that's true.
We're talking about fictional
No,
fictional
it's
zombie
real though.
characters.
They've gotten into my head.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic show. I really
I
do love
need
the
to
show.
know why.
I mean, it gets crazier than that. Those are obvious questions. Like the questions that I get into are like, the show's all about betrayal. Those that actually do bad usually live longer. So in the end of it, somebody's going to betray somebody, right? So who's going to betray Jon Snow? Now that they're going to find out that he's the rightful heir to the throne, that he's the nephew of the lady he's just slept with.
Everyone's going to come after him. Yeah.
So
Isn't that
who's-
creepy? That was creepy.
It is pretty
I'm like,
creepy.
oh, you're not going to do this again. You already did
Yeah,
it with the
Already did it
others.
with the twin cest.
I know.
Yeah,
I
right.
was like, I'm like, why you got to be like that? Why do you have to do this again?
Yeah, I know.
It's like,
It
it
gets-
drives me crazy.
Well, you look at it as far as like good TV because it is so creepy that you can't
Yeah,
help but
you can't gotta watch
Right.
it. Yeah, but then you feel ashamed
Like
of
the train-
yourself. Like, yeah, but
train
then
wreck.
don't you feel creepy? Like I feel like I walk
only
away.
when I ask my sister for a date. Other than that, I feel great.
Good one. Yeah.
Steve liked that one.
That's some issues. Hey, Steve, we need to talk about what. Steve, do you have a sister? Have you ever asked her out? Yeah, you got. And then, and by the way, thank you for leading
I
with.
hope my sister's not listening.
I know. Thanks. Thanks. You're leading with. So before I sat down, you guys.
Oh
were,
yeah, we
Like you
show
guys
is
set it
designed
up.
for you.
No, you set it up for like I was like, oh, now what am I going to do? Because like you've already talked about masturbation on the channel, and then you talked
Phallic-shaped
about and
buildings.
weed,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
know, and I'm like, great. Like I'm
Yeah,
gonna, what am I
pretty
going to
much
talk about?
it all.
Yeah. So,
I love it.
anybody have any questions for me?
Yeah, we'll talk about. Well, here's the other one that the seeing as I spelled the name of your magazine wrong today. That, but see, here's the deal: is nobody
Oh,
knows
that was typo.
nobody caught it. Yeah.
I only bothered
But so, True Rock Revival magazine. How
Correct.
did that come about?
you. Okay, so it started off. It was called Fretboard Magazine, and Fretboard Magazine really is the brainchild. Part of it, a lot of it. Craig Marks was the one behind Fretboard Magazine, unbeknownst to me. So basically what you had is one day he runs into the office and he's like, I got it. We want to promote music, and you always talk about how you want to help, and get your stuff, and then you want to help other people in South Florida, make the scene really good for originals. He's like, Fretboard Magazine, and guess what? I just wrote out when I met Brad Delp before he died. So I'm just going to throw that up. So he threw that. We had done one or two interviews of like locals at that point. And then Craig goes, we have like 500 viewers. And then Craig goes and puts the Brad Delp interview where he met him at a concert. Before the concert, this limo pulls up. And Craig and his friend who had driven from Miami to Orlando waited really early. You know, those guys who wait. And then the next thing you know, out of the limo comes Brad Delp. And they're like, and he gave them like 45 minutes of his time just hanging out talking because he had all this time before the show, before
Cool.
the big concert. So Brad Delp from Boston, this former lead singer, may he rest in peace. Craig wrote it all down that night at the hotel and said, I'm going to need this one day.
Cool.
And the next day, there were thousands of people who read it and were posting and were going bananas. And one of which was his former fiance from that time. And then,
His daughter.
oh, I'm sorry. Did I get that wrong? His daughter. But his fiance liked it also.
But we're talking about twin cest, so they may have
No. It's because she did like it. But somebody
dated.
else.
Sorry, I had to say
Okay,
that.
but I know, right?
Just bring
But-
it all back together.
It's all right. I get teased all the time.
No offense to the lead singer of Boston. He was fantastic.
Oh my God, I love, well, amazing. So then that kicked it into gear. And then the next thing we know, we were at Fort Rock 2 years ago. And I wanted to stay at the merch table or whatever because I was freaked out about going and interviewing anyone because I'm like, what do I want to ask these people? I don't want to bother them backstage.
Yeah, funny story about that. Go ahead.
Okay, so then I'm like, I go backstage. Craig's like, are you going to interview anyone today? I have been like talking to this group and, Tyler Bryan and this, so many people. And are you going to do it? And I'm like, I will. So I go back there, and a few times there was no one in the tent. And then I go and I see this whole group, and I'm like, wait, is that Red Sun Rising? And I go, and they go, hey, and they yell out, and I run over. They go, get in our photo, and I get in their photo, and I interviewed Ryan Williams, their guitar player, who's a great guy. And the next thing I know, I wrote something up, and then it just had steam on its own, and then we were pinching ourselves. So someone's asking me now that I feel like a natural on Abby, you seem like a natural on stage. Have you ever dealt with performance anxiety? And I'm going to say, Stephen, yes, I have. In fact, I'm very, very shy. If like people who are really close to me know, if you put me in a room full of tons of people that I don't know, like even at the bar the other day, like if I don't know,
I saw you peeking over his shoulder.
Yeah, like I just
I do that.
Yeah, I've had performance anxiety, and I think what happens with me is that after the first song, I just love it, and I don't know. It's like not me, it's me, but it just feels just like I'm floating kind of, and all I could think about is just trying to not look up too much because I want to relate to everybody, and I don't know.
I close my eyes.
Right, me too. I don't think that, and I think that's good. Like I see a lot of people do that, and I always think that's cool. I think.
Well, I try to sing songs that I totally get into, so it's really easy for when I close my eyes and kind of forget everybody's there. I think it helps for the show and what I do.
I think I'm a little too crazy to close my eyes the whole show. I always have to know what's going on, and then I have to jump around a little. I'm a little weird.
We talked about me being like real nonchalant on stage.
Yeah,
they don't matter.
Yeah, no, I think sometimes there have been times. When I'm anxious, it's, I'll tell you when I have performance anxiety, and it's like what you were talking about. When I am not in the zone and I get off stage and people come over and start talking and going, I have a son, and I'm like, and I'm thinking, I gotta go to the bathroom. And my brain starts going like, oh my God, this is so nice. And I also need to use the restroom for just 5 minutes. And
I mean, it's very flattering, but sometimes it's
great,
very off-putting.
But it's, I think if you're in a zone, it's like you have to suddenly, I'm not good with, I'm good with changing gears at the office and all that stuff. I can juggle there and I can juggle at home, but I can't juggle on a gig. Mm-hmm. It's really weird. I could do it if I'm playing guitar or the keyboards or whatever, or singing, but I can't do it when I get off the stage. And I don't understand that because I don't have to really do anything but just talk. But I think I just feel weird, everybody can do, I don't know. I start to feel like, because I like encouraging people and I like helping people. So I think there's a part of me that's like, oh, I hope I don't seem, because I know in the past at times in life, if you're quiet or serious and you're walking to a room when you don't know anybody, it can be misconstrued. I've had that happen oftentimes in my life, as, oh, she's stuck up, or why aren't you arrogant with how you sing, or stuff that's weird. And I literally have been told that. And I always feel
We've all heard it.
I'm sure.
I get off stage and a guy walks up to me and goes,
you hear everything.
I know a guy sings that way better than you. And it's like, glad you wanted to share that.
You should have him come. Hey,
I told him, I can't wait. I hope he's in a band. I can't wait to hear him.
I would be like, hey, bring him out, man. I want to have him sing it too. I'm so giving.
I don't. No.
I'm so that's my.
I don't offer him.
My friends think I'm crazy. My friends, when I get together with my buddies and we're hanging out, they're like, "Why are you so giving? Why?" They're just funny that they think I'm like, it's not a con.
No, it's not a contest.
I don't really feel. I don't feel like that, and that's why I love interview. I learn by interviewing people who have done it.
Sure.
So. And I have so much. I am always going to have things to learn. I'm never going to think that I'm finished. It's just not how I look at myself.
When you find yourself being the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
I love that saying.
You need to be. Yeah, I like to be the dumbest guy in the room. When I worked at the studio, I just sat there and just kind of watched all these guys who've been doing this forever. I mean, I didn't. I had something to give, but only when it was time to give it. Other than that, it was time to learn. And man, I love that. It was so fantastic.
That's cool.
It really is.
Very cool.
But yeah, I understand about the whole anxiety thing, pre-stage jitters. I get weird right before I go on stage, but when I'm on stage, I'm fine.
Yeah. Well, you feel warmed up when you go after you start a song. You just feel warmed up, huh?
I just know that I've been here before. I've been doing this all my life, and when I'm on stage, that I can control.
Yeah,
that I have control. It's the other, whether the equipment works or who's being
You're
laid
brave.
or whatever.
You're brave. The other night, I was like, he's doing his own. I won't do. I did.
Oh, I always do my own audio. Yeah,
I used to do that years ago, and now, no, I won't be. And it's not. It's more like it's not that I can't. It's more like, how am I hearing myself? I would rather have my buddy James, who's really great with sound. He goes out and he's walking around the room while we're. And but the thing is, because I'm going to be listening for one or two things maybe, and this is not when we're recording. I'm so different with that. Then I can track it and I can split everything out. But at a room that's bouncy and all the dynamics and all of the acoustics and this and that, I'm like,
I like fixing problems.
You
Sorry,
do?
I like
That's
things
good.
like that.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm weird. I'm weird like that.
No, it's just whatever you were. And as for the anxiety, I think part of it also is I had a very pushy mom, and so when I was 4, I was able to, if you sang something, play it back on piano, and so everybody would go like and then I'd be like, oh God, just leave me alone. I don't want to have to do this for every family member or friend who shows up. Oh, you don't know my mom. My mom is Lucille Ball on steroids. She
You also said she was kind of like a hippie vibe too, right?
Yeah, she's very hard to explain. She's like if you took a hippie or you took Jimmy Stewart and made him, as a female.
Like Jimmy Stewart. Steve.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. And everyone loves her because she feels the whole entire world is a small town, even though it's not. So I've had to rescue her from a guy who was a cokehead who said he was going to help me in music. I had to go out to Newark and rescue my mom. I've had to, like, when my dad, passed away, it was like a real shocker. Like, she just is so kind and nice, unless she's in the family and then she's ribbing you and giving you like a hard time.
Right.
Yeah, like she's great, but she's like, I've got to be snarky with you, like our whole thing. In our family, if you don't have a sense of humor, you're just going to go down. If you have to be on your toes, you have to, you cannot not be on your toes. So, so my mom was very pushy, too pushy, and she knows it. And like everyone knows how she is. She's like, I'm a Virgo, and it's just start with all that astrology stuff. I'm like, no, give me that, So she's my best friend. Like, I'm crazy about her, but she is such a character. She just gets a room laugh. She doesn't even realize. She just has no idea that she is.
Some people just have it.
She is it's like a kid walking in the room who's a little out of control, but sweet as can be. And so she would push, oh my gosh, you have to hear my daughter. I'm like, oh my gosh, please leave me alone. And then then she's like, you keep singing and you're always singing and you're working on the piano. We're going to pay for you to go out to North Carolina School of the Arts. And they have this program, this summer thing, and it's only a week. So I went, and there's this humongous lady, this big woman named Betty Allen at Harlem. And so she's teaching this class, and she's teaching people to use their voices. And she gives me this secular song, this hymn, and I'm like, I don't know how to do that. This is the beginning of the classical thing. And I literally left. My parents weren't there. They went to go see, Salem and everything, North Carolina, and just have fun. And I left and I went back to the dorm room, and I packed up my stuff, and I went, and I'm sitting on a fence. And for like 15 years later, my dad would bring it up no matter where I was. He's like, there she is. We have our rental car. We drive up this dirt road, and there's Abby sitting on the fence. He thought it was hysterical. And I'm like, I'm not going back there. And my parents, they rolled down there, and they're like, what are you doing? We paid for this, and you are going. You never do this. Don't you want to learn, And I went, and I learned it, and I went back, and I sang, and my voice came out a different way with like soul and spirit, and it was like a fuller-bodied sound. And then I'm like, oh, I guess I should take lessons. So that was when I was 12. But I was also freaked out by a mom who would like push me. And then I did this contest when I was turning 12 one summer. And it was at this I was with my family on vacation, and they just had this contest in one of these hotels. And I got up, and then there was a standing ovation. It was just weird. And then people from then on was like, why don't you do, a TV, go and I was like, and I just was quiet for 3 years after that. Because I just wanted, like, you're quiet. When you told me you got quiet. Sure. There's a part of you that wants, like, you wanted privacy. Now I'm not that way at all. Now I'm like, I want to share everything, but back then I was just a kid, So I just didn't want to be on display.
I hear you.
I was also like, these people are so nice.
Sometimes it's about on your terms. I mean, sometimes
when you're young,
that's what it's about.
You got things going on.
And sometimes you don't even know what those terms are.
Right. Right. And then all of a sudden, everybody, when they would see me, they were like, oh, my God. And I'm thinking, well, why didn't you talk to me like you weren't even talking to me before?
Sure. Right.
I mean, that's, a kid's mind.
Sure.
I didn't know.
Sometimes it's so you don't know the questions to ask. You don't know enough to know. Sometimes that's just how things go. Or what are you even thinking? It's funny. I talked to a young man, a very young man, 10-year-old man. He's the same thing. He wants to, he wants to do entertainment, but then he doesn't. It's like, I really want this attention, but no, people are giving me attention. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So, I get it. I totally get it.
Oh, I love one of my friends, Steven, if you're there watching still. Steven.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if he is, but I love how that guy can be anywhere and he can do so much. He does. I mean, he's at Rockefeller Center, and he sends me a video, and there's Steven doing a pirouette. And I'm like, I didn't know you ice skated. And he's like, oh, by the way, I did. I can. Or we'll have a party and he gets on the piano and he's only been playing piano for about a few years and he's phenomenal. I mean, but he loves to show it off. Like, he's great. And it's great. Like I wish, I think it's great to be wherever you are. Like, I can do it if there's a show, and I can do it if we're rehearsing or, recording, and it's a professional thing.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't tend to be able to do that. And I wonder if it's because I have a mom who's so out of the box. I think that affects, it makes you kind of, or it just might be my nature. Who the heck knows? I don't know. I never even think about this much until now.
Of course, because now you're asking any questions about it, right?
Wow, is this how people feel when I talk to them?
Sometimes.
I'm sorry.
No, sometimes, yeah. Especially, it's cool. It's like, these aren't things that you would normally just go around and tell people unless you actually triggered that in your head. And the same way when you're asking questions about a few weeks ago and you're asking questions and I have to think about like mom and singing gospel, which I haven't thought about
So
that
cool.
in forever. You know?
Gospel.
So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the magazine was Craig, and
when did that start? What'd you say?
it's only been 2 years, and we just feel, not even, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, no, you're welcome, Stephen. Yeah, so it's only been like a few years, but it's been like a whirlwind of we get calls all the time, and I think.
What are the plans? What do you want to take that?
Thanks for asking. So Craig, where do we want to take this? We want to interview. We have some great kicking interviews coming up, and I mean ones that we've been pursuing. Mm-hmm. Like, you get them the chocolates, and you roll out the red carpet, and you call, and you whine, and you cry. No, no, you don't always get the people. Like, you don't always get everybody you want. There's a huge, and so we're trying because we want to, or you want to interview them when something's coming out, but what's great is we love the PR that we're working with and the management that we're working with and
That's
the record companies that we're working with. They've been phenomenal.
Gotta start somewhere. It builds.
They're
cool.
phenomenal. We actually have relationships with them, and they even laugh sometimes when we're like, you sent us that link and we know you're promoting whatever, but it's not for us. Mm-hmm. Or they're like, why don't you give it to, well, we did. We all listened to it. It's a bunch of us listening, and we just decided no. Like, we really stand by that because we want to, it's just, we really want to have integrity with what we do. Mm-hmm. But at the same,
I can relate.
Yeah. But at the same token, people that are new on the scene, we just love also promoting the newcomers too. Mm-hmm. So our integrity is across the spectrum. It's not just, because someone calls and we could do that. We could always give in and be like, and yes, them to death. But, we don't want to do that. And
I think what you're basically saying is you're trying to go quality over just quantity. And it's the same way with doing this kind of show. That's what I want. Yeah,
it's true. We also, speaking of show, on the 18th, we're going to do a show.
Okay.
So it's going to be not just myself. It's going to be myself, Craig Marks, and then our friend Ewan, who is a Scottish lad. Mm-hmm. And so the three of us have a lot of stuff we're going to have fun doing.
What type of show are you going to do?
It's going to be a combination of things that are out there when it comes to bands, or when it comes to here and there some gags, because you can't have our friend Ewan on the show without something happening.
Some cut-ups. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then also we'll take questions. And we've been talking about this actually for like 14 months. It's been something we wanted, but we wanted things to grow more. Mm-hmm. And then it was just a matter of we don't have time. Like, every time we were turning around, we were running around doing the interviews. So it gets a little crazy, but it's been very good. It's all like I pinch myself. I really do. And I pinch myself I have some new things coming up. There's a guitarist that I'm always saying, but do you play like this guy or this guy? I don't want to give it away, but I just heard that he wants me to, he's like, I'll let your magazine interview, but I want it to be Abby. And I was like, wow, oh my gosh,
very
that's
cool.
So cool. And I was just like, I jumped up and I was at home and I was like, oh my gosh. It was like I did the Sally Fields, like, you like me, you really like me. And Then another idol, singer-songwriter, the head of a band, he's like internationally known. We're going to get him in the fall. So I'm floored, and I just can't wait. I mean, I love interviewing everybody, though.
So your show is going to be on April 18th, and it's going to be right here. Is it going to be on Livestream Entertainment? Is that
It
who's
won't be
doing it?
here. We're going to
No, I
relocate.
mean through Livestream Entertainment. So
Yeah,
keep watching the channel.
Yes, please. We're going to relocate, and we're going to do it live from Livestream, and it's going to be. We just want to have fun with it, and I don't know that we'll do it every week because I don't know if we can. I don't know if we'll see because but it's going to be on Thursday nights. From what I know right now, that's
Cool.
what they
So
tell me.
True Rock Revival magazine is going to be doing a little podcast internet show on April 18th, right here through Livestream Entertainment through Doug, which is really cool, and I wish you the best with that. So
Thank
your
you.
magazine, they can find that. Where can they find that magazine?
Our magazine is at truerockrevival.com. TRU, rockrevival.com. We also, an offshoot of that is Bandivius, which is, we are getting a lot of people involved with that across the country. And it is venue owners as well as people out on the scene and being able to find music. And that was spawned by when we were traveling. And I said, it is so hard. We were out and I'm like, it was really hard for us to find something tonight. And then the test plate happened with a bunch of people. And then we had people traveling and they were trying it and it just was really, so we have good things. And then what else? And then we have another baby, a lot of babies, which I don't know. Am I allowed to say about the other one? No, I'm not going to talk about that. Do you want me to talk about the newest? No. Okay, I'm not allowed.
You can talk
Okay.
about that on the 18th, Colin. Make sure
There
you
you
write
go.
in and ask them about that on the 18th. The new baby.
Yeah, and then next month I'm recording, so that'll be fun about a bunch more tunes because two of them people really seem to like. So,
Cool.
and then I've been asked to try to do some rock fest, but I think we'll be doing that stuff in the fall.
And you do have a website
And
with
then-
your band as well. Go ahead and give. Go
My
ahead, give it-
band is sordidfable.com, SORDID, sordidfable.com. So please
I've
check
checked it out. I've heard her songs.
Okay.
Yeah, make sure you go check her out and listen to her band.
Thank you.
No
And
problem.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely.
Appreciate it. And
No, it's very fun. It's fun talking to you, Abby. It's very
You
cool.
too.
Got to know a little bit about you and where you came from and what kind of motivates you. That's
Cool.
really, really cool.
Fun.
I like to see anybody local just taking life by the horns and just going for it. I love that. That's really, really cool. Very
you.
inspirational,
Thank you.
right?
Yeah, and I like that you clarified about the dragon and the water because when I see the next season, when is the next season coming out
Last
for
season
Game
comes
of
out
Thrones?
April 14th, so we have less than 2 weeks.
Can you believe it? Wow.
Well, it's been 2 years. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to my brother. I'm going to be like, 2 weeks, buddy. 2
Anything you
weeks.
want to know, I know all kinds of crazy stuff.
I'm going to do that so I can slam him with some details so that he doesn't get so, all high on his horse about it.
Right. Ask him next time you see him. Say,
Roddy there.
is the Night King really a Stark? Ask him to see if he knows that.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you think it's like from way back?
Well, there's a theory that goes that since Bran,
Uh-huh.
right? Because there was an original Stark that helped build the wall. It was called Brandon the Builder, and he was a Stark, and he's the guy that actually helped build the wall, which they think had some magic powers to it.
Mm-hmm.
So, because they fought the Night King way, 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 way back from then. So they were saying that the theory is that Bran, how he wargs into other people's, how he rolls his eyes back and he can take over somebody's body, that he will eventually turn himself into the Night King. So it's a perpetual thing that keeps going. And
Wow.
looping, that he's
Going to be protecting the Starks.
maybe.
I bet you.
We'll see.
His family, And except what is going on with Arya? She's creeping out.
She's had a pretty rough life.
That's true. I know. Oh my gosh, the many
It's actually
faces.
really funny. There's a thing that happened the other day. She was on the Tonight Show, and she did a April Fool's prank on them. And she said she was doing an interview, and she said, "There's nothing that I can tell you. I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement."
They must get asked so.
And they do everything.
be
And
so
so
crazy.
it was a perfect joke because what she said is she says he goes, "Well, can you tell me about anything about like the Arya's greatest moments?" And she said, well, the first moment was probably one of the moments that helped define her, which watching her father get killed. She said the second one was she had to travel around with the Hound and how she told him he was going to murder him. And, that shows her progression and the type of person she was coming into. Then she said when she got rid of her clothes that she had been wearing for like 4 seasons and finally kind of graduated out of the house in black and white. And then she said, she was even when we were filming, this is beautiful. She did such a great job. And if you haven't watched it, go watch it you can find it on YouTube. And she says, at the end of the show when we were just when we were filming the end of it, it was so amazing because when I found out that Arya got killed, and then she stopped and she looked at Jimmy and she put her hand over her and she started shaking and it looked so real. She was she goes, "Oh, this isn't recorded live, is it?" And he was like, no, you're okay, you're okay. She gets up, acts like she's getting ready to cry, and she goes off stage, and he's like, oh my god, this is crazy. He gets up, runs off stage, and they both peek their head around a corner and said, April Fools. So I thought that. I was sitting at home watching it going, they did not.
Spoiler. Yeah, there's a question that I just got about Bohemian Rhapsody, and they want to know if someone's asking me if I saw it and my thoughts about it. My thoughts about it were that I saw it a bunch of times because I liked the first time I saw it, I thought his teeth are ridiculous. And then I found out that Rami Malek had to wear those teeth for a year because his mouth is small. He also had to learn how to sing. He also had to learn how to play piano. And all the work he put into it, that I just thought his movements were so much like Freddie Mercury's. And the acting was great. And I absolutely loved it. I mean, because they hit on how he wrote his music. They hit on culturally what he had to adjust to coming over to London. And they also were pretty much going through, obviously, when somebody has to deal with being gay and their parents accepting or not accepting them and going through all that is so difficult. And back then, remember, people really didn't accept it. I mean, here now we have the LGBT community. People can be more open and peaceful. But back then, and in London, it was very difficult. And it seemed like anytime he got interviewed, Freddie Mercury, people wanted to know about things like that, or if he had AIDS. I mean, people were freaking out about AIDS. So it was very powerful. I think I know it gets criticized for, they didn't show enough of how he was. I don't know that we need to know so much about who he slept with or how many people he slept with or his antics. Like, I don't get off on that. I got off on the music and his being a genuine guy, and then his coming back to the band, and even when he was ill, putting on one of the most incredible, phenomenal shows. It's still, people watch it and they say, oh my God, his voice, his talent. He's a legend. And so there's my answer,
Good answer. Very good.
That's how I feel about it. So thanks for asking, Yeah.
Feel good?
Yeah, feeling good.
Did you have fun?
Yes, I did. You're fun.
Thanks.
And I loved your show. When are you playing again?
When am I playing again? Actually, this Sunday I'm doing a benefit / birthday party / anniversary for Cheers East on Cheers on Cypress Creek.
Oh, cool.
It starts at 6:00. There, you can find the invite if you go to Cheers page on Cheers Sunrise. My band and a few other bands are going to be playing.
Who else is playing? Do you know?
The charity. I have to look that up under the Shindig. The Levacies. I do believe they start the whole show off. If you haven't heard them, check them out. They're actually a really good band. Been around for a while. Let's see. Thomas with the shirt off my back, who I interviewed last week, he's going to be collecting clothes there. So
Ooh,
I've
nice.
already got a few bags for him. So
That's
actually everybody, look, I know there's clothes out there that you don't wear. I know there's clothes that people gave you as presents that you're never going to wear. Stop kidding yourself. You're not going to be. You're not going to be.
Goodwill has enough.
You're not going to be back to your high school weight. I love you, but you're not going to do it, and it's okay. And nobody needs to see those bell bottoms from 1979.
Bell bottoms are back. What are you talking about?
Sure, they are.
They are.
Keep telling yourself.
I'll wear them. I'm
so
gonna wear
go
them.
for it. Send them
my
to
boots.
Abby if you don't give them to
Boots
Thomas
and-
with a.
No, it's okay. It's all right.
So he's going to be there.
Great. I'm going to feel terrible. Like, like
you're going to be getting nothing.
they
but
gave
bell
me
bottoms.
all the bell bottoms. You know what I would do? I would just turn it right back around and donate
Give
it.
them to Thomas.
That's me.
That's fantastic.
That's how I learned.
But remember, they need a lot of the delicate stuff for the ladies too. So it was funny. Somebody called me and they said, "I bet nobody gives bras," and I'm like, I bet they don't. When you think about
What about panties?
they need them too.
What?
Sure, why wouldn't they?
How are you going? Okay, no.
Why wouldn't they?
How are you going to clean the panties to?
When you have nothing, a pair of used panties.
How do they?
that are
Okay, but
clean.
just tell me how they clean them.
Just you clean them.
I'm OCD with that stuff.
I sure. Well, I hope you never get homeless.
Yeah. Oh no.
Because if you have nothing to wear,
oh my God, I cannot be homeless
No, I'm
because
serious.
like I am such a
think about
germaphobe.
it. I had to tell.
So
I had to
true.
tell somebody. I had
I'm
to
a
tell-
germaphobe. If I were
I had to
homeless, I'd
tell
be
this
like,
little girl
can
this
somebody
today.
clean? I would get cleaner. That'd be the first thing I'd get.
I had to explain this to a little girl today. She was talking about not wanting to give up her doll dresses. Like she is, when she outgrows them, she wants to keep them for her dolls. They're not going to fit her dolls. But so we were talking to her about it, and I said, "What do you do when you don't have anything? When you don't have money to buy food? We don't have any. Like, what do you? You're so happy to get a used dress. You're so happy to get a used pair of shoes. And yeah, underwear. I mean, if you want to go buy a new pair of underwear, that's fantastic. But I'm sure somebody who has none would probably be okay with
Here's the thing I'm going to suggest to those of you donating underwear.
clean them.
No, just go on over to like TJ Maxx and bras if you want to donate. And if you feel funny, like I certainly would, about giving my panties, not that they're not clean because they are, thank you, but like I would just go buy them for $2.99. Probably
So the question is,
Marshalls.
would you throw yours away?
Yeah, I have.
Think about that.
I do. If it has a hole, like that you can
No,
only
no, I'm
wear. I mean, even no matter if you stay small or whatever, you don't throw your. Well, you're a guy.
If you're going to give them away,
Guys keep stuff forever.
It's not even about that. It's
What?
not even about that. When I was talking to Thomas and started thinking about how people have nothing,
Yeah.
is that it really kind of defines what you think that you should keep and what you should throw away. I'm just saying. Think about
Well,
it, people.
no, it's true. I do. I have our kids going to their toys, and the other last week, my son brought out all his toys. He was like, "Yeah," because in his mind, his birthday's coming up. So he's like, "I'm just gonna get all my new stuff." So he said, "I'll get rid." He comes out literally. I mean, just dumps everything. My daughter, who's sentimental, she comes out with one toy. She goes, "Here, I'm donating this," like all dramatic.
of course.
And I'm like, "Okay, anything else?" And I'm thinking, "Oh, please." There's just like some of these toys are so tiny and little, and she wants to keep everything. And I just let her go with it. I'm not going to
That's
bother
fine.
her.
It's
But
crazy.
we do get rid of a lot. We purge.
No, it's
You have
not
to.
about that. There's no judgment in it. It's like when you don't know, you don't know. It's so
Yeah.
like when talking to somebody like that, you don't think about how all encompassing that really is when nobody really has anything.
But let me ask you, do you like, because I've done this before. It was an experiment.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in college, my friends and I, one of them was like, people need to be able to talk to these people. Abby, you talk, because I was talking a lot when I was like from age 18 to 22. It just, every time I went to New York to visit family, I'd see it even more so with the homelessness. And I used to talk to my friends about it. I'd be like, this is crazy. Why aren't they educating people, getting them the meds they need, getting them off the street, give them a job, get them where, and my friend's like, why don't you talk to them and see what they say? So I go and I try to talk to some of them and no, it's cool. I had some of the best conversations. They tell me about where they're from. No, one of them was originally from LA, and, she had a career, and then she lost her family members, and she was bipolar, and she lost her money, and then it was just like a long story. And
They all have a sad story. It's
it
we used
was
to
sad.
have a guy that he was, every time we went there as a tattoo convention, we'd find this guy that had a big sign that says, "Yell at me for $3." So you give him $3 and just scream at him. And
Did you
tell him
do
every
it?
bad- Oh, hell yeah.
oh my
I had,
God,
like,
what'd you
several-
say to him?
Everything, just anything.
Did you be like, get
Just
a job?
No. It was never
medication.
anything personal.
Imagine someone
No, it
really
was just like,
nasty
I can't
doing it.
believe you're wearing green socks. And you're just the stupidest, just yell. And and the funny thing is that he gets this look on his face like, no, please don't yell at me, please. And then you get done, he's like, oh, thanks, sir.
Yeah.
Give him $3 and he goes on his way.
He probably makes, how much do you think he makes in a day?
The dude makes bank.
No
It's the best
kidding.
therapy in the entire
Have you
world.
seen the people over on like Sheridan, like they're there and they're like homelessness, whatever, and then you see them, they get together in a huddle. My friend said, Abby, it's a whole scam, some of them.
It is.
Some
It's
of
not
them. I'm
a
not
scam.
saying
it's
yours.
not
I'm
necessarily a
saying
scam.
some.
No. It's not necessarily a scam. It's a business. If you one of the channels, one of the TV shows or the news stations about 2 years ago actually did a story about it, and they said it's like a $1.2 billion business.
Oh my gosh.
what,
I'm in the wrong thing.
$3 million business from the people in Miami that
Wow.
they would send people to different corners, and then they would pool it at the end, and they got paid, and they would give them a part of the money, and it's like a whole deal. Yeah, I see
Yeah.
the same people, and over by a couple of places where I frequent, where I go, one of the intersections that I go, and I saw this one lady, a poor lady, She had to look like, it really looked like she didn't have a dime to her name. Next day, she had a new shirt on. Next day, a new pair of pants. Next day, a new pair of shoes. Next day, she had her hair done. Next day, she had makeup
Did her
on.
sign? Wouldn't it be great if her
Didn't see her
signs
anymore,
changed
so.
and then her signs changed?
Right.
Thank you. Thank you all for making this possible.
Well, no, it was. Hey, look, I actually, if that legitimately is a story, I try to be cynical and not like.
I was going to say, you're a skeptic
way.
sometimes.
Yes, I am sometimes.
Yeah, it's all right. You just want it
because
to be proven.
because I know guys that have done it. Well, I don't know guys. I've seen scam artists. I've seen them in action. And those people really, they make me angry because there are people out there that
Dishonest.
legitimately need help. And that's why I go through guys like Thomas. So like he knows
cool.
the direct connection to get to people who really need it.
No, and we'd like to do, we respect that too, because there's also these like drop off. Have you noticed the clothing drop off is one thing? That's that's the one that's the brown and gold seal on it. That looks really, it looks like this is a drop off.
I got a video of a lady climbing out of one, putting the clothes on.
Oh my God, will you post that?
No, it's on my Facebook somewhere.
Oh my God, I'm going to
But
go
she's
find
actually
that.
in it. She's got one of somebody's holding the door up and she's throwing the clothes out. And they were like, "Are you literally throwing the clothes out?" She's like, "I need clothes too."
No,
So.
those people who own the boxes, it turns out that they go and they sell.
Sure.
They sell everything. Yeah. See, look, I'm so naive. I'm like, oh my gosh. And you're like,
No.
yeah, of course, Abby. I need you around
Here's
for like
the-
when I'm
yep,
I'm out on the streets.
I'm gonna let
and
you all know.
people-
I'm gonna let you all in a
like,
big secret.
Help me.
I'm gonna let y'all in a big secret. Everything's a scam. Everything is a hustle. Everything.
Oh no! Wait a minute.
Everything.
Wait a minute.
There's
I
a
mean,
hustle for everything.
what about integrity? There is integrity in
Sure, there's integrity.
Okay, so
but
what's
for
the-
every con man that's for what was the Ringling Brothers says, there's a con man, or there's a sucker born every minute, and Ringling said, and a con man every 2. So trust me, if there's a way to make money at somebody's scamming somebody. We're in the world. We're in the beautiful heart of Scam City. We're in South Florida. There's just
That's
a lot of it
very.
going on.
Oh, what a
Everybody
mouthful
has
you
an
just
angle.
said. Oh
It's-
my gosh.
But you know that going ahead.
So true down here.
If you know the hustle is happening,
Yeah,
just keep your eyes open.
Yeah, it's true. I hear you. That's cool, Ken. That you already, because then you don't get let down much.
No,
I get let
I go
down.
into it looking for the letdown.
See, I don't. I go into it and I'm like, wow. I go into it OCD. I'm sitting there at my car and I'm like, oh, don't look at me. Don't look at me. I don't have change right now. And then she comes over and of course, law of attraction, because I'm thinking it. She comes right over and stares at me. And all I can think of is, you need to get clean. You got to get cleaned up. Like what I want to do is grab a bucket and stuff and be like, you got to take care of your hygiene first. And then ask me, take care of your hygiene.
Well, what you do if you really want to help find out the local places where she's around, and then you work with those people. I'm telling you.
Will they
I've worked
stay
with-
clean? Because
it's not about staying. You can't make it. You can bring a horse to water. You can't make
I
it
know.
drink.
Well, they're not
And
going to
it's-
do it if they need medication.
But here's what helps with that, though, is
What?
that you dealing with guys like Thomas and giving things like used underwear. I think everything
Yeah.
that they may need to help them stay clean.
Like, what if you, if I was.
Like toiletries. There's a lot of places that need, like people.
Yeah.
I know people that actually put together. There was a thing.
Toiletries. Yeah, but see, that's closed up stuff. I can't see did he really say underwear? Seriously?
They need everything.
Bra's okay, but.
They need everything.
Okay, I will bring
Everything.
clean underwear over.
You-
I'll
you-
buy it in
whatever
the
you-
3-pack.
Whatever you do.
All right,
I mean,
I'll do
when you,
that. That's
when
going to be my
nothing-
contribution.
Nothing means nothing.
No, I know. Hey, yeah, but you're talking to someone whose family, like my grandmothers were refugees coming over here and they had nothing.
Sure.
So believe me, I understand that.
I got you.
have this
But I mean,
family
but
stories.
when we don't get in that mindset, we're as people, I call it the bubble.
Yeah.
There's things that we choose as people to put in important places. And sometimes we even get to the thing to we're so close-minded that we look at our things like our charities, like some people like, this is the charity that I deal with. And they'll look at somebody else's charity, and even though they're doing the same thing, the same good work, they'll be like, well, their charity's not more important than mine. And I'm not in a negative way.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Just like, well, I donate to this place.
I think all charity, if you're doing it and you mean it, and you're not.
That's what I
scamming,
look at. I look at it like, hey,
it's
man,
all good.
is good. Everybody choose your way of being good. That's fine.
I wish more people would do it who have it to do like grand, big, or just do it quietly, and then you find out later.
Those are the people I like.
Wait, but you find out. I love when you expect one character, one person out there who's made it big or whatever, you're like, oh, I bet that guy because he's so cool. And then later on, like let's say he died
Total
posthumously, you find out he kind of didn't give to anyone, and you're like,
There's a lot.
Really?
There's a
It's
lot
like
like
his
that.
personality seemed like he would. It's funny.
There's a lot like that. I've
Yeah.
come across a lot of people like that. They look, they just kind of go, that whole giving thing.
I don't want to get infected with.
How am I gonna?
They think they're
going
gonna
to
get infected, like-
if I give. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I think that's a disease too. Like Joan Rivers, for instance, she made so much money, but she was always afraid she'd lose it all. Coming from meager background or whatever. And so it's like, I think some people who can't give, I think part of it is that it's just their mentality is that they're going to lose it all.
Everybody has a different
know what
makeup.
I mean?
Everybody has a
Yeah.
different
I know.
motivation.
This
And,
depends what it is.
I don't judge people for
Yeah.
whatever motivates, whatever. I just look at it as like, if you're putting good out in the world, she did a lot of good with her comedy.
She was great.
She helped a lot of people.
I loved her.
You know what I mean? So
Did they ever
although it
work
may
out that
not be-
case? Did they work out that case where like the tube went down and she had a heart attack? Basically, it was the doctor. It was
I have no
the
idea.
daughter's going after the doctor
I
for
know.
that.
Some of that I luckily stay out of.
Yeah, but
with
I
some of the
care
dark
because I'm
drama.
thinking, wow, someone was operated on and I didn't even, it's like, it was a simple procedure.
There's a lot of that too.
Yeah.
That's why they have malpractice insurance.
You got to figure she had probably some of the best doctors.
Did she?
No, I would think.
We should
Wouldn't-
ask her. Wait a
Can't.
minute.
You go first.
Exactly.
I'm joking.
Well, Abby, I'm going to go ahead and
Yeah, thank
I'm
you
gonna
so
ahead and
much. This
say
was fun.
goodbye to you.
Yes.
Abby, thank you very much.
It was a lot of fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Abby Davis.
Rock on. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Those at home, make sure you leave her some love if you're watching. We greatly appreciate you're watching. Again, my name is Ken Hurley. I'm with my partner Steven. Say hi, Steve.
Hello, this is Steven. Hello again.
Yeah, it was nice talking to Abby.
Hi.
Abby's super cool. It's-
Very nice.
Yeah, very
nice.
cool.
You know who we should have as a guest?
What's that?
We should have Abby's mom.
Abby's mom? Oh, maybe.
She's a mixture of Jimmy Stewart and Lucille Ball. I've got to meet this woman.
And she's a hippie.
I've got to meet this woman, doggone it.
Right.
Those are two of my favorite celebrities. So.
Suddenly I'm hearing Jimmy Stewart yell Ricky. How would Jimmy Stewart do that?
I wish I could do it. I wish I could do imitations. I'd like to be Jimmy Stewart doing Lucille Ball. That'd be pretty good.
That's fantastic.
Maybe Abby's mom can do that. I don't know.
That's great. Yeah, it was a good show. It was fun. Abby's great.
Very good.
Yeah, make sure you go
Abby's a
check
wonderful
True Rock Revival magazine. Make sure you give them some love. Some local cats trying to do it, man. That's good. I like it. Bye, Abby. We'll give you no applause again. Right on. All right, so folks, we got a big show coming up next week as well. Actually, we got a couple big shows coming up got a couple big shows coming up in the next couple of weeks. Next week, Chris Blinston from No Hard Feelings Tattoo, Season 6 of Ink Masters is going to be giving me a tattoo live on the air. And we're still trying to figure out what we're going to get tattooed. I was going to get a tattoo of me on me, but only thinner. Get my logo? Is that what you think I should do? I get the internet logo. This is going to die in like 2 episodes. Why would I do that? I'll be stuck with this shit for the rest of my life. This show's going to be over in like 2 episodes, Doug. Why would I want that stuck on my body for the rest of my life? No, teasing. Right. Yeah, we made it past number 2, which we thought would never happen. Thanks for all those who doubted me. I shake my fist in indignation. No, so we're trying to figure out what I'm going to get. So that's the thing. So I'm trying to ask folks at home if you're watching. And so you want me to get, so how much you paying me to do that sponsorship wise? Because they pay boxers to put like condoms.com on the back of their backs. What's that? You're already going to be my friend for life, Doug, because you don't have any friends. I'm one of the only guys that's befriending you, Doug. You can't afford to not have me as a friend. He's like, I can find somebody else eventually. So if you have an idea that you want to get me tattooed now, this is always where it opens up for the fun section in the comments below of everybody sending the weird shit. I've had people suggest some pretty funny things. What's that? The Tyson? Yeah. What's that? Oh, get the Tyson tattoo? Yeah. Nah, man, no face tattoos. No face, no neck. I already did hands and all that. And I pretty much got everything else. But I have no face, no neck. If I had any good looks, that would totally ruin it. I'm holding on to the 1% I have. But no, we talked about all kinds of stuff. I like Star Wars, so somebody actually mentioned getting like a funny Star Wars tattoo, and I thought like Star Wars Lego character would be kind of fun because we has to be some small, so we only have like a couple hours to get everything done, and I want to do everything from start to finish, just like that. Placement, that's the other thing too, where I would put it, and we'll figure that out, I guess. Anybody has any suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. You can send me a message too on the Book of Faces. Yeah.
I know I'd get a tattoo of Lucille Ball, but that's probably not where you'd want to go.
You want to get a tattoo of Lucille Ball? That's actually wouldn't be bad.
Like Lucille Ball right on my chest.
Right on your chest. Get I Love Lucy, just the logo, the big heart with the I Love Lucy.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, that show's gonna live forever. So the tattoo will never be embarrassing.
Is the show gonna live? It's still syndicated. Is it?
It's still syndicated. People still watch it. People still love it. It's a great show.
How long did that show was
My
still
niece
on?
is a big fan. It was either 9 years or 10 years.
Oh, is that just the Lucille Ball show? But didn't they do something else after that where they were in like where she was like
right? That was just I Love Lucy that lasted that long, and then the
I Love Lucy,
show
which was that the Lucy show. Okay, gotcha.
Then the Lucy show, and then Here's Lucy, and all three of those shows lasted a long time, were very successful.
Amazing.
She did do a fourth show that was a failure. I forget what it was. Some
Everybody Hates Lucy
show. I can't.
It all came back. It all came back around.
They did hate Lucy.
Everybody finally hates her.
Lucy. She was really old, and she was still falling off ladders and doing slapstick.
Oh God!
And people
calling for Ricky, he wasn't even alive anymore. No. That's horrible. Calling for Ricky, he wasn't even there anymore. He was just
careful.
Fred's dead, and she keeps asking, "Where's Fred and Ethel? Did they move?" Oh, it's horrible, folks. I actually love that show. That show is great. They don't make them like they used to. That's for sure.
I always have to help end the show on a low note. So
on a low note, is that what you is? The death of Lucille Ball. That's great.
The death of Lucille Ball and her failure last show.
Well, folks, we've run the gamut. We've talked about rock and roll. We've talked about sex. We've talked about drugs, and we've talked about death. So that's that seems to be the running theme. Last week we didn't talk about any of that stuff. We talked about nothing but uplifting things about like giving and all that good stuff. So we'll try to keep more of that. We did talk about giving.
We'll try.
Well, we talked about that lady on the subway giving. She was giving it all she got.
Yes, she was. And some people would have found that very generous of her.
Some people would say she was giving that blind man a show. Is what she was doing.
She was. His sight was running out. That was the last day he was going to see anything at all, and that's what he got to see.
Oh, that could be good or bad. It could be good or bad. But on that note, folks, I think we're going to call it an evening. We want to thank everybody and their brother. Thanks for all those that wrote in with the wonderful questions for Abby. That was very, very nice. You can find her on her True Rock Revival. You can also find her on her band page. Go check her out. Give her some love. If she's around town, make sure you go say hi. You can find live entertainment or live stream entertainment at Wingfest this weekend on Saturday. They're going to be streaming live for Wingfest at the Ron Bergeron Rodeo with host 1059 and what's that? Livestream.tv. My fault. .tv, ladies and gentlemen. Livestream entertainment.tv. They're going to be streaming it live. from the Wingfest. That's on Saturday. And on Sunday, you could find your old buddy Ken here at Cheers East off Cypress Creek. We're going to be doing the 34th anniversary of Cheers, the birthday of Judy Blim. Also, we're going to have Shirt Off My Back, which you can drop off clothes. And I please urge everybody, if you don't want to come out and hear my band, that's fine. We got 3 other bands out there that are absolutely fantastic. They're going to be rocking and rolling. Every band plays for about 45 minutes to an hour. So at the top of the hour, you just go and check out if you can make it there. Go see the bands, say happy birthday to Judy Blim, bring a couple clothes, a couple pieces of clothes if you can't bring more. Drop them off to Thomas. Say hello to me. I will be accepting shots of Fireball whiskey. Not that I don't really want them, but I'll take them if you have to give them to me. Steve, what have you got going on?
I don't have much going on at all. I can't get my hair done this week because my
You just shaved it.
I haven't got anything exciting going on at all.
Well,
and you had to bring that up.
Yes, I did.
You had to bring up.
I knew you had nothing going on.
You knew I had nothing.
That's it.
I have nothing.
Well, you know what you do have? We have a show next Tuesday.
Yes, we do.
And we're going to be looking forward to that.
We have that.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us here at the best damn internet show coming from True Fit, South Florida. Right here in Davie, Florida, with my host, Steven Sperling.
Yes!
And until next week, folks, be good to one another. We're all we've got. Hug your mamas. Be good to one another, please. We'll see you next week. Best damn internet radio show. Livestreamentertainment.tv. Take it easy, folks.